The Fantastic Four movies haven't been great, or so I've been told. To be honest, I really did love those early 2000 movies with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. I was a child, so maybe I didn't know better. I was meant to go back and watch those, but I do have fond memories of those.
Oh my God!
But it's still a consensus that the Fantastic Four movies are bleh, pretty bad. And Fantastic Four First Step certainly comes in to try and change that. And I think it does. I think it's a good movie. It's the best Fantastic Four movie probably by far, but I'm still trying to figure out whether or not that's by default or not. Because this movie definitely is not perfect. I think there's a lot of things I liked and others I didn't. But overall, there's definitely more good than meh. I don't even want to call the things I didn't like bad. They're just meh. So let's get into it. I will be spoiling because I'm just going to let my brain go. So this is your spoils warning. So yeah, let's get into it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and all that YouTube stuff. And also hit down in the comments, let me know what you thought about this movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you agree with what I'm going to say? Would you disagree? All that good stuff. I mean, you're watching YouTube, you know how it works. So in the Fantastic Four, the first steps, it is very quickly established that the Fantastic Four are a team. They've been here. Very quickly, we get into their origin and what happened to them, and then the subsequent result of what happened to them. They became superheroes that take down local crime masterminds or whatever. You know, they're established as a superhero group. Then all of a sudden, Silver Surfer, aka Shia LaBeouf, shows up and is like, yo, Galactus is hungry and y'all on the menu. So the Fantastic Four takes it upon themselves to go and talk to Galactus and try to figure something out. In that exchange, Galactus looks at Sue Storm and is like,
wait a minute. He kinda looks like a baby. Get in my belly!
They don't want to give up their baby, so now it's up to them to find a way to deal with Galactus. Finally, a movie where you don't need to watch every single Marvel thing to understand it. I could show this to someone who don't give a shit about Marvel right now, but maybe like the Fantastic Four back in the day, and they'll enjoy it. They'll understand it. There's no Captain America, there's no Wolverines, there's nobody else from the MCU in this movie. There's a big reason for that, but I'll get to that later. The thing I love the most about this movie is definitely the theme and the setting of, 1960s New York, because it is very quickly established that this is a different world simply because of the tech. I love the 1960s tech, but it's also like retro futuristic, like a little robot, Herbie running around. He's cool, but all of Reed's stuff in his man cave is all like really cool high-tech shit, but it's all also wrapped into this 1960s New York vibe that I really like. But you can tell it's a different world because there's flying cars and shit that you didn't really see before. And I don't just mean there's like the cops' cars are flying around. It's like there's flying cars in this world, and I really enjoyed that visually, from the theme and how it looks, and like the suits and how retro the suits look, and even the Thing and Ben, how he looks like closer to the comics. I really liked how this movie looked from a style perspective. It does look very different from anything else in the MCU out there right now. At times I did feel like the CGI wasn't the greatest, especially when Ben's holding the baby. CGI baby I did not think looked great, but on the flip side, Galactus himself looked huge and scary, and I liked his design, and even he kind of kept the old school retro visuals of the comics, because you look at Thanos, they didn't really keep him, his retro design from back in the day. They kind of tweaked it to now, and I don't feel like they did that as much for Galactus, and he looked really cool. Of course, acting was great because they have a fantastic cast. Whatever concern I had going in about the cast, which really wasn't much, like the second the movie started, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's Sue Storm, who I think was the best character. I really enjoyed Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. She just embodied that character really easily. And also, like, the vibe between them really kind of threw me off. They all seem super mature and well put together. Even Johnny, especially Johnny. What they did with Johnny was kind of crazy, but I'll get into that in a second. The dynamic within the team, I really liked that there was no infighting. There was no drama between the four. It was more, the drama was coming outside of the group, attacking the group, and it was more about them not only being a family, but sticking together through the tough times and like understanding we're not giving up this baby. But there's no like, fucking Johnny's doing his fucking Johnny things, and is like, there is some of that, but that's not like drama added to the equation. And I really, really enjoyed that. So Reed is super analytical and is all about the facts and the numbers and all that. So he definitely struggles with the emotional side of making very, very tough decisions, because at the same time, he's also the smartest man alive, and he feels a sense of responsibility for literally everything. And I enjoyed that take. Now, the Pedro Pascal of it all, I understand that people might be sick of good old Pedro. I'm honestly not. I didn't see that Materialist movie, you know, like, I do see the Hollywoods like just shoving them down our throat and putting them on everything, but I didn't see Pedro Pascal in this movie. I didn't go see the movie for Pedro Pascal either, but I went to go see the movie for the Fantastic Four, and while his performance, it was not like I'm looking at Pedro Pascal. He became Reed Richards. He became a version of Reed Richards, and I thought he did a great job. Now Johnny, I really like that he's not just like a pinche tonto like they always make him, like this doofus who gets in the way, who's all about getting chicks and whatnot. This Johnny is smart, which makes sense because he's a damn astronaut. He should be. I guess from the four, I guess Sue would be number one, but they showed the most about Johnny's character through the movie. He was willing to sacrifice himself for his, nephew. And I feel like past Johnnies would have not done that. They're like super selfish, or they would have made it a big deal. And it was like a no-brainer. Like, if I have to, I'll sacrifice myself for this child. Like, we're here. Like, this is what we're doing. He learns an entirely new language to be able to talk to the Silver Surfer. Even though that the dynamic between the team, they do kind of see him as, oh, it's just Johnny, to the point where like he's trying to tell the team something and they just completely ignore him. But again, he learned an entire language to communicate with the Silver Surfer, and I enjoyed that he wasn't just the pinche tonto of the group. I like Sue and how mature she was. She's definitely the matriarch of the group, but she has like this regalness to her. It might just be Vanessa Kirby, but you can also see how precious she is to the team. Like, they all love her. Like, they really, really protect her. And the sense of family was really there. And for Ben, I did have mixed feelings about it because, first of all, I didn't recall them ever calling him the Thing throughout the entire movie. He's always Ben. Even when they made the cartoon, he's Ben. They call him Ben. And his appearance is never an issue. He doesn't really seem like he's struggling with it. Maybe there's like a hint of him having struggled with it in the past. There is this one scene where he's like watching the film, watching like the recap of their origin story. It's in the trailer, and like he's like reminiscing a bit, and they show him what he used to look like and then now. But it's not ever a big deal in the movie. Maybe I was expecting that because it was like the same old thing. Ben being the Thing is never a thing because the Thing is not a thing. They don't call him the Thing. It was just really weird. And to be fair, this movie does fast forward a few years after their origin story, so he could have his shit together, but they don't treat him like, oh, the Rock guy or anything. Like, everybody knows who they are. They know that they're superheroes, and everybody loves them. But it's like, also, it doesn't really give him a problem. It's like the biggest issue he has is like they always want him to say it's clobbering time, and it's like, I don't say that, but the cartoon does it. That's like really his big issue, and it's never about his appearance, which I guess is fine. It's a different take on it. Maybe it was just something I was expecting that didn't happen, but that also means that he doesn't really have an arc. Like, the Ben you see in the beginning of the film is still the same Ben at the end of it. They do try to give him a love interest, but it's like a potential maybe love interest, and it doesn't expand upon it enough either. I love Natasha Lyonne, and I loved her in this role, but you can literally take her out and nothing changes at all. I wanted to see more of it. As far as the villains, the Silver Surfer, I feel like, people were annoyed it's a girl, but then they found out that the Silver Surfer Shalabal was a thing, and then everybody just kind of shut up about it and just kind of dealt with it. I thought she was cool. She does have the best action sequence in the entire film. I love that she surfs. It seems like a simple thing. She literally surfs on like space sand or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, that chase sequence was crazy when they're trying to get away from Galactus the first time. I loved, the dynamic of the ship trying to shoot her, and I love the little details like they're in like a wormhole, so you can't just shoot her, and the beam goes around, and her surfing that and getting that out of the way. That looked really, really cool. From an action standpoint, that's the best part of the movie. But I also felt like the character wasn't used enough in the movie. It's like Like, she shows up, she's like, y'all gonna die, and then she dips, and then that chase happens, and then she comes back and destroys the thing, and Johnny talks to her, and she leaves, and she comes back at the end of the film. Her motivations and what she feels wasn't like really developed a whole lot. Like, there was a sprinkle of her origin, but then we quickly move on. And again, she was cool, and I really wanted more of her, even though at times I did think she kind of looked like PS2 graphics. Not when it was like the movie camera, but when they would put her on the screen of the world when she's talking, that definitely looked like PS2 graphics. And the big bad Galactus, like I said, is scary. You know, the scenario he presents definitely brings a sense of doom. That was whack. He was cool. I do feel like they might have nerfed him a tad. Even the way they dealt with him was kind of simple. Like, Sue just kind of pushes him into like a teleport hole. And I am oversimplifying it. She does literally die during the process, and I get it. It's probably really tough to deal with Galactus. How do you deal with this, you know, cosmic being? Because it would also not make sense for them just to easily be able to kill him. Even Silver Surfer, just to kill him like that, it doesn't feel right, because they just don't seem like they're powerful enough. I think technically he's more powerful than Thanos. So them pushing off to Neverland also kind of makes sense. It was ultimately not a big deal, but I can see people bitching about that. What did mess me up about Galactus was like the sense of scale was kind of all over the place. The first time you meet him, he like feels super huge. I mean, he eats planets, right? So is he like incredibly eternally gigantor or what? Because then he goes to Earth and like he's in knee deep water. He gets out of the water, and at one point like a building is like up to here to him because he has to like hold on to it. So the sense of scale of Galactus himself was really kind of all over the place. It was kind of like trying to picture how big is he, but then every shot just felt different. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. He was still scary and really cool. Ralph Ineson, he did a great job. His voice is amazing, and it obviously fits great as Galactus. Ultimately, I did enjoy the movie, but my biggest issue with the film, and it also could just be a me thing, because I heard other reviews and read other reviews, and I didn't see anybody else complain about this, but to me, the biggest issue with this film is its pace. I don't know why I felt this movie to be super fast. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of time of them to simmer or think about anything. Even when they're like trying to figure out how to deal with Galactus, it just feels super fast. Even like the way the movie starts, we're just shot into the movie. Like, we get fast tracked about their origin story, which, yeah, it's cool. We don't need to see that whole thing go down again. That's fine. We can skip that. But then they kind of like fast track them defeating the local villains and them growing their fame and popularity and even gaining the respect to the people. That's kind of like shown in the montage. Then the whole baby thing, and then she gets pregnant. And then when she's getting pregnant, she tells Reed like, oh, you know, things are not going to change that much. And then we go into like another montage showing us what she really means by that, all the things that they actually do. Like, Reed has a TV show, and then there's cartoons, and then Reed has its like science stuff, and then the Congress that Sue's in or whatever, like all that's like shoved in. The pace really felt super fast to me. Like, the whole movie ended up feeling like a recap kinda, or because everything is just like shoved in your face really quickly, it felt like montages. I don't know. I just wish the movie would took a second to slow down a tick, because there are moments of heart, you know, when the thing is, or when Ben tells Reed like, you know, it's not your fault, dude. Like, you have to let that shit go. They have like a heart to heart, but it lasts about 30 seconds because then we move on to the next thing. It doesn't let anything simmer, in my opinion. You know, this movie is less than 2 hours, and I do like that. Not every movie has to be 2.5 hours, but at the same time, I'd also feel like this particular movie crammed in a lot of things in there, which maybe, you know, you guys like and enjoy, but I just wish that it took an extra beat or two. It just felt like they were doing a lot of things at the same time. I mean, like when they fight Galactus and then they have to escape, they're shooting at Silver Surfer and trying to keep the ship alive because it doesn't have enough fuel to get back. So they're trying to figure out how to get back and how to loop around and use the gravitational pull of things while shooting at her and trying to get rid of her, and then using a black hole. And then doing all this, and while they're doing all this, Sue is giving birth to the baby. It's like, yo, that's a lot, you know. Wow. And again, I said that was the best part of the movie, and it's really cool. But after that ends, I was like, damn, like that was a lot. And even the way that they walk off the ship, they're like, fuck, you know, that's a lot of shit. And then it directly goes into Reed for some stupid reason telling the people that they chose their baby over them. So then that sparks a whole nother drama, and then kind of like a montage to kind of show, you know, the people's response to that. Like, remember that Elvis movie with Austin Butler? You know how that movie looks and feels like a music video, the entire movie? This looks and feels like a montage, the entire movie to me. And I could be completely wrong. Certainly yell at me down in the comments, but that's just what I felt on my very first viewing. I don't have no problem being wrong, but because of that, because it felt so quick, I was left wanting more action of them fighting and really showcasing their powers. I don't think they did much, probably in the montage when they're taking down like the local criminals, and at the end there isn't much of that in the middle. Like, they might do a thing here, like Reed reaches over and grabs something on the other side of the room, Johnny does, you know, does flame on and run away, and Ben does just like literally pick up a car to entertain kids. But within fights and fighting people, because there's really not much of it, I was left wanting more from that perspective. Because again, what they did was cool, and I guess I'm really greedy. I just always want them to do more cool shit. It definitely is the best Fantastic Four movie. It doesn't have much competition though, but as a base to establish this new generation of Fantastic Four as this being their first movie, I think it's really good. So at the end of the movie, as a tribute to Jack Kirby, it is revealed that they are in Earth 828. And we also get a big post-credit scene with Doom 4 years later after the events of this movie. So Franklin is a little bit older. Doom is like chatting it up with the baby. So it's also said that we won't see the Fantastic Four until the Avengers Doomsday. If you saw Thunderbolts, you might remember the post-credit scene there of the ship showing up. I was kind of confused because I was like, I would have bet money that the conclusion of this movie was going to end in them going through some sort of space wormhole to end up in the Earth where everybody else is. What they did was actually show that the Fantastic Four group and Victor Von Doom, who's obviously going to be the bad guy in Doomsday, is in this world. So I am very curious to see how they're going to get all 5 of these people, well, I guess 6, including Franklin, to get into this world. Are they going to teleport? Are they going to use a rocket or something? Like, I'm curious to see what they do there. I did ultimately enjoy this movie, but let me know what you thought about the Fantastic Four first steps. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? You got any nitpicks? Any and all? Let them thoughts fly down in the comments. And while we're down there, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, do to you.